Greetings and welcome to the Success Formula Show. I am Yousaf, host of Success Formula Show. Today we have very amazing personality with us. She is talent sourcer at Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Yes.
She's a brand consultant and event coordinator. She's doing so many things at the same time. Give me a warm welcome to our today's guest, Tia Williams. Welcome, Tia.
Hi, how are you?
Great, fine. Thank you so much for showing up on this show. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Okay. Well, I am Tia. I am originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm born and raised. So I am the only child, and what inspired me to do what I currently do and work so hard is my mother. She was a single parent, and while we didn't have a lot, and I watched her struggle, she always worked really, really hard and kept going no matter what the obstacles and the struggles were that were placed in front of her. So it really inspired me and showed me like through hard work, you can accomplish anything. The road is not always easy, but you have to keep going because life's going to always present challenges.
Yeah, wonderful. You're doing many things at the same time. You are brand consultant, event coordinator. You are helping to find cures for cancer as well. And according to your experience, what are the top three success secrets which others can get as a cheat sheet and implement right now in their business?
I would say the first thing is patience. I think that we live in a microwave society where a lot of times through social media, we get in our minds that everything is supposed to happen quick, and understanding that you have to be patient with yourself as well as patient with the process. There have been many things that I've tried that just didn't work out. And even through all of my endeavors now, there are things that aren't happening as quick as I would like them to. So there are many different projects with my brand consulting business that are kind of on stall because I need more resources or I need more manpower, and that's okay. I try to take things day by day and not focus so much on what isn't going well, but what's going well. So I would definitely say patience, number one. The next thing I would say is consistency, particularly with my brand consulting business and even with the work that I'm doing with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. You have to consistently show your face. You have to consistently put out good products, and you have to consistently present yourself in a reliable manner because in anything that I'm doing, rapport matters. So if people know that you're reliable, consistent, and dependable, they're going to be more willing to back what you're doing. And then I think that you also have to consistently show up for yourself. Again, there are going to be days, and there have been days for me where things just did not go right, where I wake up and I'm like, if something else goes wrong, I'm going to scream. But I think that you still have to consistently show up and believe that things are going to get better. And then lastly, I would say having confidence in yourself. On this journey, a lot of times you're going to meet people that don't necessarily believe in what you're doing or believe that your ideas can be successful, and you can't deter that. I always say like you can take the feedback, but don't necessarily internalize it.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Patience, consistency, and believe in yourself. What is the single most failure in your professional life? What lesson have you learned, and how did you recover from it?
Sure. So back in it was 2019, I started Fashion is a Habit, and I really didn't have a plan. So that was failure number one, going into something without a plan. And I think my approach was just get everything done in one setting. So I went out and I spent a lot of money on getting a website, merchandise, and buying a lot of product without a plan. And that first year, I didn't sell anything. It was an absolute disaster. And it was very, very discouraging because, in my mind, I was just like, it was just supposed to take off. Going back to what I was saying about having patience, I did not have patience. I just wanted everything to happen overnight. And I just wanted everything to just fall into place, even though I didn't have a plan. So going back to what I was saying about believing in yourself and being consistent, I really had to take a step back for a couple of months and, like you said, look at what went wrong. And so I identified the first thing was I didn't have a plan. The second thing is that I tried to take on more than what I could handle. And then the last thing is that I didn't really sit down and like strategize and have a mission for how I wanted to build my business. So what I learned from that is write things down, because a lot of times we can have things in our head, but we haven't really strategized it. And when you take things out of your head and put it on pen and paper, it looks very, very different. So that was the first thing that I learned, is write things down. The next thing that I learned is, on this journey, none of us are able to do it alone. So it's okay to like have a confidant or a mentor that you bounce things off of. And even though ultimately the decision is on you, is nothing wrong with having feedback from a trusted source that maybe sometimes can say, hey, you may want to step back and look at this again and make sure this is what you really want to do. And then I would say, the last thing again is break large projects up in pieces. Going back to the patience thing, I think sometimes we just want to have everything happen quickly and overnight. And so what I learned from that is it's okay to take time to strategize, have patience, and consult people that have been there before that you trust.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, Tia, like what are your future plans to grow your business?
Sure. So I'm really excited that recently I've partnered with a lot of other brand content creators. I've been featured in several magazines, so Voyage Ohio, Shout Out Ohio, and Canvas Regal, and I have another magazine feature coming up. So my short-term goals are to continue to partner with other content creators as well as local businesses and magazines, because we live in a society where social media is so big, and it's a very, very powerful tool in terms of promotion. And social media, most platforms are free, and so that's really, really helpful as well as I'm trying to build my business. And then as far as long-term goals, eventually I would like to get to the point where I am just solely running my business, and that I'm not having to juggle so many different projects. So that's the long-term goal, but I have a little ways before I get there.
And what challenges are you facing right now in your business?
I think the biggest challenge is time. As you mentioned earlier, I'm doing so many different things, and I still work a full-time job, which I enjoy very much, but that's 35 to 40 hours a week that I essentially have to take away from my business. So it's hard juggling my full-time main job as well as my clients from my business and putting out content and promotion. So the time management piece is really, really challenging.
You are doing so many things and you are managing till now, and this is also another achievement. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
Oh,
that.
yeah, wonderful. Okay, Tia, like people who are watching this right now, how can they support you?
Sure. So people can support me by, if you're on at Instagram, making sure that you like my fashion page. Is fashion underscore is underscore a habit. And then also, if you are on YouTube, making sure that you support my podcast. It's called Two Real Podcast. So I really would appreciate if you guys subscribe to that as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. What would you say as a final words?
I would just say finally, for anyone that is trying to build a business or grow in their careers, just keep at it and be encouraged. I know whether you work full time or you're an entrepreneur or you do both, that challenges will come your way, but just stay encouraged and inspired.
Thank you, Tia, for sharing your wisdom with us on the behalf of Integrated Success Formula and my entire team. Stay blessed. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much for having me.